Welcome back to Welsh Miniature Board Gamer, and this is my roundup of what I got painted up during the month of October. So, excuse the first of all this that we've got all cat hair everywhere. I do have cats, and they do like to sit on anything that's a bit fluffy, and it's in my fleece. So, yeah. So I got quite a few done this month. I'm really quite happy with that. So, without further ado, let's have a little look. As with previous months, I've got a lot of Zombicide 2nd edition zombies painted up. So I got another one of these runners done. And I think that is finally me done with the runners, which thank goodness, because I'm really not a big fan of painting them, but they need doing, so I'll paint them up. So that's the first one. Then we got two of this sculpt, which I quite like. This is the one with their placards, the Doomsayers, giving out free hugs apparently. Doubt you can be figuring close enough, but it says free hugs. So they're Doomsayers, but they want a bit of a hug in before they go. So I painted up two of those guys. Painted up the last two of this sculpt. And again, using bright colours, what have you, to show that they are modern miniatures. So this one actually is showing up a bit redder than it is. It's got a bit more pink to it than that. But they're suitably grotesque. And I've painted up 4 of these. So there's the first 2. And here are the second 2. And these are the fatties. Probably politically rather incorrect baddies, but there you go. That's what they're called in the game. Then we have these sort of Miss Trunchbull style zombies, and they're sort of tangled up in barbed wire, which is kind of an interesting look. Like so. So I painted up 4 of these, so I got another 2 which are pretty much identical. The colours are slightly different, but near enough. And I think these colours were actually used in contrast paint. Just, get it done quick. And then we got, I'm not sure if they might be security guard fatties, or are they just, I'm assuming they're security guard fatties. I quite like these ones. These got a bit of character about them. Looking pretty cool. And again, I painted 4 of these. So there's the first 2, second 2. Like so. Nice, easy paint jobs. I painted up 2 of these 2, which is another thing. Old man, sort of, he's wearing his checkered vest, or tank top. It's quite nice because the actual diamond pattern is actually on the miniature, so it's not like you have to paint it in. You can just go over the raised details, so that was quite nice, and I quite like these sculpts. These are nice sculpts. Then we got our 4 coffee shop workers, I decided they are. So from 2 rival coffee shops. Colour scheme actually came out a bit darker on this one than it was meant to be, but it's close enough. And again, quite nice little miniatures. I used some contrasts and some standard, paints on them. But to be honest, with zombies, a bit of roughness from contrast paint actually doesn't look terrible. So because they're a bit battered, they've been dragged through the coffee shop. And then we got 4 of these guys. These are pretty cool. They're zombie firefighters. So this one I actually tried to do sort of a burnt skin effect, which doesn't show up great on camera, but actually when you look at him, he looks pretty good, pretty toasty looking. So that's 2 of them, and then there's these 2, which are the same ones, of course, but There's not much you can do with painting firefighters. They're kind of regulation. And then I got two really oldie miniatures. Now this shows how old I am because I remember buying these ones. So these are from the 1980s, 1986 I believe. And yeah, I decided to paint them up at long last. So this was a Paladin, I think this one was meant to be. Games Workshop model. God, I remember distinctly buying these, so yeah, that's worrying. And this guy, I think, is just a warrior. Games Workshop warrior. The shields aren't original shields because I kind of lost them over the years, obviously, so I had to make do with shields from the Frostgrave Soldiers box. But they kind of blend in okay, and, you know, for models that were made in 1986, I think I found out. Yeah, they look quite nice. I actually like these. Oops, I like these old school sort of designs. I think I've said that before. You know, they're quite bold, quite, you know, easy to paint, and I really enjoy painting them. Okay, so that's those. So that's all the miniatures that I've actually got painted up for this month, and I think, hang on, I will check how many of them I've actually painted up. So that's 29 miniatures I've got painted up this month, which is really good for me, and I've also painted up. So the next thing I got done is a bust, which I've never really painted before. I think I've painted one before. Now this is FDM printed, because we've got our FDM printer working. So we printed her up, and I've given her a go. Yes, I know, you know, if I printed it up on resin and what have you, it would be better. But I think she printed up really well considering it's an FDM. And, you know, yeah, I'm really pleased with this printer that we're using at the moment. So, yeah, it's meant to be Zelda. I couldn't find any reference to what colours these clothing should be. So I've kind of just done what I thought looked about right. And, yeah, I'm quite pleased with it. You know, obviously, you know, you can see the lines. But I'm not that worried for something that's going to be really cheap for me to paint and something interesting. So that's Zelda. And I also painted up another one that we 3D printed. Mr. Werewolf here. And I think this guy probably has turned out better than I expected him to for painting wise. Both of these, I think, are from Thingiverse. Because, you know, I'm not really paying if I don't have to for stuff, and yeah, so I really like him. I think he really turned out well, and I think the paint job, you know, is subtle, but it's enough to show the details of this dude and what he looks like. And I'm really quite happy with him. So the next piece was a terrain. So I'm not counting the bust or the terrain really towards my goals of painting. But here is, oh, you can actually see really close up here, but this is really close up, you know, this is my fingernail is kind of like huge. So, you know, yes, you can see it when I'm up close, but in reality you wouldn't be able to, and you can't really see it on this side. It's just some lines breaking away on that one a bit. But if I put a miniature on it, here's my little bridge. It's looking pretty good, actually. Looks like a drone shot. He's looking up at you, waving. Look at that. Nice zombie. So the next piece, I'm going to have to change my camera angle because it's a rather large 3D printed building. So just bear with me for a moment. So yes, finally we have this Ulvheim Gatehouse, or Bridge House, sorry, I think it's called. And as you can see, it's quite a large piece of FDM printed model. And I painted it up. I think I painted it really quite nice, actually. We got like some nice like terracotta tiles, etc., and a nice wood effect. Now I'm going to be going over this model a bit more, maybe in a next video where I'll do an actual review on it. So I won't say too much now, but I'll quickly show you what it looks like, and this is the rather impressive piece that it is. So it's got a removable roof. I haven't painted the inside because I'm not even sure if I'm going to be playing with the inside of it or whether I might do some extra things to it. So you'll have to stay tuned to see if that actually happens. But, you know, I just put a brown flooring on it, and, you know, I haven't painted the walls. But I painted the walls outside, obviously. Give it, you know. So it actually looks finished. and painted all inside, etc. there. But I've gone for just a grey over black dry brush type effect for the walls, and I've done some like Tudor styling, wasn't daub like on the internals, with just wood. So yeah, nothing super fancy, but like I always try and think with my terrain, I don't want it really taking over the game. I want the miniatures to be the focus. So, like so. There's some little bit of webbing I've still got on it from the FDM printing, but it's pretty good. I'm not worrying about that too much. People playing the game aren't gonna really worry too much about it, I don't think. But yes, so that's what I also got done this month. A rather large piece, which took actually quite a bit of time, which I shouldn't really be surprised, but I was a little bit surprised. I thought it would be knocked up really quick, and it took a fair amount of time. So I'll go through it in more detail probably in my next video, or a video coming up soon anyway. But yep, that's what else I got done. So that just leaves me to say goodbye from me, Welsh Miniature Board Gamer.